Greetings, everyone. This is Rock and Roll Spot Convention with the Weekly Comic Runner. We've got a decently sized haul, so let's get started. Kicking things off, we've got X-Men number 24. Things are heating up for the X-Men, leading up to the Fall of X, where we left off with them. Jean Grey and Cyclops were having had a falling out, mainly over how Cyclops wanted to deal with the Brood recently. Whereas Cyclops wanted to eradicate them, Jean knew that they had basically been, or that they were at least to a point being manipulated by Nightmare. And so the Brood that were still under the control of Brew were basically taken to nowhere. So we open with a quote from Moira. "Cable is a virus. They are of Essex, and I trust them not." So the issue begins with Cable arriving in the Rockies. Kid Cable. He goes into one of his safe house. He enters one of his safe houses. Is ambushed by Moira and Omega Sentinel, pointing out that with his onboard computer, pointing out that it's being jammed, allowing for Moira and Omega Sentinel and Nimrod to ambush Cable. Nimrod rips off Cable's cybernetic arm, and he's placed in a stasis field. Moira adds that it's suggested that Moira kill Cable. Moira points out that killing a Cable will just bring more of them from elsewhere. Though Stasis does not see the point in Manifold. However, Moira states that if Manifold lives, humanity loses. There's also a memo from the desk of the TVA concerning Cable. Temporal disruptions are increasing before and after the third Hellfire Gala. These intrusions are typical of tectonic shifts in mutant status. It's been theorized that they hone part of their defense mechanism in fluid time. No concrete evidence of this has been proven, but of course, if it were true, it would be difficult to prove. TVA recommends watching Cable Summers in every timeline. If you spot Nathan Cable Summers, do not approach, but instead alert your local TVA. It's possible the subject has nearly total situational awareness over fatal incidents to his body across his entire timeline. This own agency was nearly liquidated for underestimating him. The name of the agent who prepared the memo is redacted. Moving on, we see Destiny with Rogue and trying to get Rogue to help with, and finally, but Rogue is, what do you really see? To which Destiny states, "I see kings clashing in white, black after the death of the Red Queen. I see a Jovian bolt from the heavens. I see the stars ripped in half. I hear the poisoning lies of the false captain. His rank earned. The fool who speaks the truth will pay the price." Rogue says she doesn't know what any of that means, though it should be pointed out that the false captain who earned his rank earned likely refers to the Captain Krakoa impersonator shown in the Free Comic Book Day Uncanny Adventures. Anyway, moving on though. Pog from Ten of Swords is attempting to rob Game World. Game World is under the protection of the X-Men, and the X-Men have often shown not because they got a distress signal, but rather because, well, they're going to take some time off. But it so happens that their time off happens to be around the same. They arrive shortly after Pog makes his intentions clear. And so the rest of the team deals with them. Before Forge gets a drink first. Basically, stating that when anyone can do the kind of things that he does, sometimes the worst mistake he can make is to leap right into things. He was recently he makes machines. He was humbled by one recently. Thought they always bend to his will. Because they always bend to his will, they always would. The normalcy bias nearly cost him his life, and honestly, it really stuck with him. It's got him rethinking some things, but maybe that's to be expected. But the X-Men deal with Pog, complete with his armor being ripped open to reveal Pog's true form. But, well, it's a mistake. Basically, the X-Men buy him off to send him away with Mysterium. But Jean and Scott discuss their issues telepathically. One point of contention is that Scott's never been to Morocco. He states that if mutants give humans a reason to think mutants don't belong on Earth, they will take it. The creation of Morocco was well intended and solved some short-term problems, integrating the Iraqi, but Scott was an invitation to exile. Jean called him cynical, but Scott honestly makes a really good point. But it seems that Jean compliments him, and it seems that they leave their conversation. She doesn't tend to leave the X-Men, and adding that if he's not on the team after the gala, then he wants to, then he can come find her. Back at the treehouse, she finds Polaris napping there. Basically, Emmett sent Jumbo Carnation over to the dress for her. Should Polaris change her mind about the gala? Though Polaris is having a tough time. And Polaris says she knows she's not supposed to be at the treehouse. She's not on the team anymore, but Jean does kind of point out that, once an X-Man, always an X-Man. On Morocco, Magic meets up with Sunfire. A while back, Sunfire relocated to Araco, and Araco wanted Sunfire to recover Redroot, who is basically Araco's voice. So, Magic escorts Sunfire to Otherworld. Though there's a brief problem with the stepping disc, which points to something that Stasis stated earlier in the issue, that he already neutralized the Rasputin girl's power. But the basic idea is that in a week, Magic will come to pick him up. Presumably 10 months later, Sunfire's found Redroot and getting him back, but he's trapped in snow and darkness and doesn't have much light. Can't make much light anymore because there's no sun there's no sunlight for him to solar energy from him to absorb. But Sunfire's tale apparently continued in X-Men Unlimited, and that will be followed up by, of course, at the end of the month we have the Hellfire Gala and, well, the new issue of X-Men. And that is where the issue ends. Things are heating up. We know from various other books that Orchis has some serious plans for the Hellfire Gala. So, anyway, moving on though to our next book, we've got Before the Fall, the Sinister Four. So, there are 4 Sinister clones. There are four Sinister clones. There's, of course, Mr. Sinister, who was on who until recently was part of the Krakoan Quiet Council. He had the Red Diamond. There's Dr. Stasis of Orchis, with a club on his forehead. Mother Righteous with a heart on hers, and Orbis Stellaris with a spade on his. It was recently revealed that Mother Righteous is in fact not a clone of Nathaniel Essex, but rather a clone of his wife, Rebecca. We open with when Dr. Essex proposed to Rebecca. In 1852, London to be exact. But apparently, Stasis has arranged for dinner with the clone of his wife. He had been making more traditional, just similar clones of her previously to have, and as well as her son, to have dinner with, and would have dinner with them before destroying the clones. Mother Righteous, however, agreed to have dinner with him, and just seemed like working for Orchis. Basically working for everyone. But as is a dinner date, Mother Righteous magics her outfit from her normal garb to an evening gown. There's wine. Steaks are also brought, though they have to be, though they're rather small, because, well, Stasis has a gamma gun that he utilizes to hulk up the steaks. Apparently, a Hulk steak is rather divine, tasting at least. But they ask what the last century's seen them both up to. Stasis was present when Steve Rogers punched out the Nazi who killed Dr. Erskine shortly after he became Captain America. He was present at the Los Diablos bomb testing facility when Bruce Banner saved young Rick Jones, though exposed himself to the explosion of a gamma bomb. He was also present at a New York science exhibition that had an unreported incident of a young boy from Midtown being bitten by a spider that had been exposed to radiation. He was also outside the vault. He also visited the vault, whereas Mother Righteous observed Apocalypse's hibernation, read to the Scarlet Witch's twins when they were babies, has also read of the Darkhold, and some with other notable mystical figures. That said, Stasis' path has crossed previously with Sinister, namely during the Super Soldier experiments. It should also be noted that Sinister also worked was also known to have worked with the Axis powers. But yes, moving on though. But Stasis explains his origin story as he knows it to Mother Righteous. She gives him a book which basically explains everything. That yes, he is in fact a clone. But she later asks if he ever returned to Milbury House. He finds the grave of their son and does begin to reconstruct the tombstone, adding to it that it's not just their son Adam, but it's not just a marker for their son Adam, but also for Rebecca herself, as well as their daughter who died in utero, Morgan. But Stasis asks Mother Righteous what she remembers. And she's going to, but she opts to do something for him with her talents, but ends up getting something for Charon. Stasis defeats Charon with a pin particle infused recreation of Captain America's shield, and also turns out the plot was to return Selene to the land of the living. The issue ends with Stasis meeting with Orbis Stellaris, noting that Mother Righteous brought him up. When she did, he acted surprised, but, well, apparently they know one another. But Stasis states that tells Stellaris that Mother Righteous, that Rebecca made a sworn oath to him long ago, and he intends to remind her. Rebecca promised to sworn oath to love, honor, and most of all, obey. And that is where the issue ends. I'll be honest, I don't think I had any inclination that Mother Righteous was good. She plays the part, she wears the mask well, but yeah, she's definitely not to be trusted. And of course, well, people trust people they shouldn't trust. Anyway, moving on though to our next book, we've got Baby Wolverine Deadly Regenesis, number 5. Right? Yes. Where we left off, Laura had been recaptured by Kimura, was introduced to the mysterious benefactor of, well, Chimera's organization. She was also introduced to this mysterious benefactor was Jordan Gaston, aka Haymaker, who blames Laura for the death of his brother. She did, in fact, kill his brother, but yeah, it was when she was basically the facility's most sought after product. And as for who Chimera's new benefactor is, it's Wilson Fisk. So, we begin right where the last issue left off. Haymaker and Laura attempt to kill Kingpin. Chimera shoots Laura, however, and Haymaker opts to try and try to help her. But Chimera learns that X-23 did not, in fact, assassinate the most recent target, as he's on the news. But Chimera and Haymaker start something of a fight while being escorted back to their cells. But it's a ruse, so they can team up and take down the guards. They grab walkies, and Laura insists that Haymaker get to the pillow workers and get them to safety, while Laura goes after Kingpin and Chimera. Though it's noted that one of the guards that they took out has a canister of the inhibitor spray, which Laura pockets. When Chimera says she'll be taking her cut at that point, Kingpin laughs and states that the transaction is officially voided, and Chimera gets nothing. Suggests that Chimera gather what she can and crawl back to whatever hole she came out of. Her tech person, Burnham, is instructed to go with her and get the chopper prepped. But Haymaker does what he can to save the pill workers, but Kingpin recruits Mr. Burnham to help him. Chimera catches up with Laura, shoots at her a few times and misses, but Laura gets close enough and sprays Chimera with the inhibitor spray and beats the holy hell out of her. After all, now Chimera can feel pain. But rather than kill her, Laura simply handcuffs Chimera to a pipe so that she can't get free. But Laura makes her way to the helipad where Burnham is leaving with Kingpin. Laura tries to grab the chopper and misses the skid, but Haymaker sees X fall and does what he can to make the landing a bit easier. She survives, but passes out into Haymaker's arms, and a day and a half later, she's fine. It's explained that Burnham was actually a SHIELD agent, and is now, and is in fact doing an even better job. Has a harder job, as he's now embedded in Kingpin's organization. Laura takes Haymaker, Jordan, to a survivors meeting. And he starts basically trying to work through the pain of losing his brother and heal from it. And that is where the series ends. It's noted this takes place between shortly before the 4th issue of the 2010, yeah, the 2010 X-23 ongoing. I have some of the, I don't have some of the issues of that. Not all of it, but some. But yeah, overall, it was a good book. I like Hennig, and honestly, he's a character I wouldn't mind seeing return. You know, even if it's not in in an X book. You know, have him be he's worked through things and maybe wants to be the person that Laura saw that he could be. Maybe he even saw Laura on TV when she was with the X-Men and said, "Hey, I know her." You know, and maybe he got inspired to be a hero himself. Honestly, that'd be cool. I like the character. Moving on, though, to our next book, we've got Star Wars, number 36. So, where we left off, Luke had gotten the crystal for his green lightsaber. Currently, there is some turbulence within the Force that is affecting all Force users, including Luke Skywalker, Darth Vader, and Emperor Palpatine. So, General Organa proposes a plan to the rest of Alliance Command. Something bold and daring, and something that's never truly been done, ever. In the history of the Republic, during the Clone Wars, something close to this happened. But she figures, knowing that Vader and the Emperor are likely off their game, well, why not attack Coruscant? As I mentioned, something similar was attempted during the Clone Wars. The Battle of Coruscant that kicked off the beginning of Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, after all, was the Battle of Coruscant. But it was an orbital battle. You didn't have battle droids of various types, on the streets of Coruscant in blaster fights with clone troopers. So, like I said, similar. But as I said, there is an entire plan, and it's not going to be, it's not a massive scale attack. The Alliance ships make their way in through a fertilizer transport. It's the Falcon, and it looks like 3 A-wings. One of the A-wings is shot down before they break atmosphere. Apparently, the statue of Palpatine has hidden turbolaser batteries that can be, but basically are hidden by the podium and then come up when needed. That takes out another one of the A-wings. Nien Nunb takes some damage to his A-wing, and before it's destroyed, Nien Nunb ejects and is caught by Chewie, and co-pilots the Falcon for the rest of everything. Basically, they fly down to the lower levels, all the way down to, well, down past level 201 even. Before level 128 is how far down they go before escaping. But it's called a HoloNet, and it's not just that four rebel ships, appeared on Coruscant and started trouble. They also blew off the head of Palpatine's statue. Now that head will soon be replaced. After all, when the special edition, the Coruscant celebration shown at the end of Return of the Jedi Special Edition, does show a statue of Palpatine being knocked over, and it has a head. But that is where the issue ends, with the two Imperial officers saying, maybe we should never, one, don't rub the Emperor's nose in this, because yeah, and get the Hollow Knight out of there. Just not do exactly that. But good issue. I like the idea. I feel like in some ways this kind of sets up some of what will happen in the aftermath of Return of the Jedi. After all, I highly doubt that a few days that oh, the Emperor's dead. Well, so the Alliance just kind of shows up and says, well, planting our flag. We're the New Republic. I doubt that it was that easy. So yeah. Moving on though to our last book, we've got Yoda number 9. Where we left off, the prototype Mega Droid that Yoda and Anakin Skywalker had gone to stop had been activated. And, well, it's something. Yoda has an idea, goes after it, tries an access hatch on the back, makes his way inside. However, upon doing so, the Mega Droid compresses itself and shoots into orbit. Yoda does what he can to damage the droid from within, but well, you only do so much, and well, it's not designed to hold a living being inside of it. So yeah, as basically as atmosphere is leaking out, Yoda meditates, and Anakin comes along and saves him, rotating the droid just right so that Yoda can escape, with Anakin coming up with a plan for him to do so. Yoda manages to escape and is treated on board the acclimated class Republic assault ship Aspirant. He suffered minor internal injuries from oxygen deprivation and has some skin lesions caused by vacuum exposure. But Master Yoda should make a full recovery. Anakin goes to talk with him briefly, and Anakin states that Yoda clearly wanted Anakin to be the one to rotate the Mega Droid, so that just to prove that Anakin could do it. Though Yoda states he'll never tell. We also find out just who it is that Yoda's been talking to this entire time in the present. Well, present. Between A New Hope and Empire Strikes Back. He's talking to Obi-Wan. And he recounts the fact that, yeah, he can't, he doesn't think that the galaxy would be better off with him, and in fact, it's probably better off with him in exile. He completely missed the fact that Palpatine was a Sith Lord. Missed and didn't even notice the fact that Palpatine was corrupting Anakin. So that is where the issue ends. We got one more issue. I think one more issue left, wherein Yoda will be entering the cave. In the present timeline of the series. But that is going to do it for now. As always, first off, huge shout out to Patreon Xander Lee. Thank you so much for your support. Links to my Facebook, Twitter, Mastodon, Patreon, and PayPal can be found in the description box down below. Feel free to like, share, and subscribe. And this is Rock and Roll Spock signing off saying, live long and rock hard.